Greetings, friends. I trust you're doing well. I trust you're keeping safe. Thank you so much for joining me again today in yet another episode. I appreciate you. In today's episode, I was just reflecting about the workplace. We spend a lot of time at the workplace, but also how do we feel at the end of the day when we come out of our workplaces? So I wanted to focus on what can we do to have peace and harmony and just thrive at the workplaces that we have. But before diving into that, of course, I also just wanted to look at then what are some of these things or situations that bring the disharmony, that bring the lack of peace, the situations at the workplaces that just make us unhappy. So I've highlighted a few points and I hope you find them insightful. First and foremost, I think one of the bone of contentions is when we are not doing our bare minimum. There are some people who you have been employed to do a certain specific task. And some of us, honestly, are just lazy. You don't show up, you don't give your best at work, and you're always finding excuses. So, naturally, of course, this is going to bring some tensions with members of your team who feel maybe you're not pulling the weight, or even with your manager who feels you're not delivering the results that you're supposed to do. So even as we're looking at, the workplace, I thought let me start with the easy one and just bring us also to account, to be accountable also, for what we have been entrusted with. Are we doing the bare minimum that you asked? Are you really doing your work? And if you're not, then you can understand if the attention's coming from different places. The second thing, I know one thing that can also cause a lot of, tension and disharmony at the workplace is when maybe even you as a staff, you don't understand your role. And I know this can bring about a lot of frustrations. I don't know if you've been in that situation. Maybe you've been given a task to do, you don't understand it, and you're really diligent, you show up at work early, you really work hard, but you just find the task you've been given either challenging for one reason or another. So in the process, you feel frustrated. And in the process, of course, you're getting into trouble with your bosses because you're not delivering. And especially if you're not confident enough also to just speak up and say what your challenge is. This can be a lot of frustrating. It can bring about a lot of frustration for you and for the people that you're working with. Now, there are also people at the workplace who are just indifferent. People who just look down on you. People who just think, you're not up to it. You're not up to task. And this can really weigh us down. One, because it makes you start doubting even your capacities. First of all, you're employed in that role because you met some certain criteria. So they find confidence in that. So when people look constantly down on us, and if this goes on a long time, I know for sure that this is something that can really affect our self-esteem. And in some workplaces or in some work environment, if this kind of behavior is left unchecked, it can really affect the performance of staff. Because when someone is constantly looking down on you, you're human. You might start, second guessing yourself. You start looking down on yourself as well. You start looking at yourself like you're not worthy. And of course, this affects your performance. And then, of course, trouble starts from there. But the truth is we have these kinds of people at the workplace. And this can also bring a lot of disharmony at the workplace. Then we have a category of people at the workplace who are constantly negative. They never see anything positive about any situation. They never have anything positive to say about other people. When you speak to them, they're always complaining and they're always just talking about how things are not working, how people are not doing their jobs. And this kind of energy is not good for any workplace or any work environment. And I understand, of course, there's some challenges, at the workplace sometimes that make us feel we are just unsatisfied. But if you're constantly only seeing the negative bit of it, this can really, take away the energy even within your team. So are you that kind of person who is always negative, who is always complaining, and who is always seeing the negative side of things, or the negative side of everyone, or the negative side of team members? Then just know that this kind of energy is the kind that brings disharmony and makes the environment difficult for other people to work. And then we also have people at the workplace who think they're perfect. People who think they're the ones who know everything, but others don't know. People who think they're the only ones who really understand the bigger picture. I mean, if already you're looking at yourself as the one who knows everything, of course, this already makes you look down on other people. It makes you, even on many occasions, not to value the contribution of others, because you're thinking you're the one who knows, you're the one who's perfect, you're the one who can figure things out. And so you end up not giving other team members the opportunity to also bring in their contribution and their ideas. Something else that can really, and I know this really affects a lot of people at the workplace, is holding on to grudges and hurts. We spend a lot of time with our colleagues at the office, and so naturally, there are moments we are bound to brush against each other. There are moments someone will hurt you, someone will say something offensive, someone will just step on your toes. And if this goes on and it's left unchecked, and then you're bearing all this grudge and anger within you, naturally it's going to show and it's going to come out somehow. So maybe just take a moment and ask yourself, are you bearing or are you holding any feelings of grudge, feelings of resentment towards any member of your team, towards any colleague? At this moment, I just want you to know that, first of all, this is really eating you up, and so you're not able to perform to your best. This is really taking a lot of your time, which you could be using to focus on other things. So when we hold on to these feelings of resentment because of things that happened yesterday, last week, things that have happened, even maybe things that happen constantly at the workplace, when you're holding on to this in your heart, first of all, it's going to affect you and your performance, and it's going to affect also how you relate generally with the people around you, and more so the person who has hurt you. And if this person happens to be your boss, you can imagine the kind of relationship you're going to have if you continue to harbor these feelings of resentment. And then we have people at the workplace whose orientation is just, different from ours. When we are coming to the workplace, we have our own set of values. So you come from your family with how you are raised. I come to the workplace with my set of values and how I was raised. And sometimes this can also clash at the workplace. Of course, in any workplace, if we're not able to work on a culture that acknowledges and appreciates everyone with the diversities that we have, with the diversities that we bring, this can be a huge source of tension. So what is the culture at your workplace? Is there room for everybody to be who they are meant to be, and at the same time bring their diversity to the best, or to contribute to the well-being of the entire team? If this is left unchecked, then it can also cause a lot of tension at the workplace. So today I really just want us to focus on, we are bringing ourselves at the workplace, we're spending a lot of time at the workplace, and we are human beings. So things are going to affect us. But then what can we do? What can you do? When you think about all the challenges I've highlighted, and there are many more, please share with me what are the other things that cause you lack of peace, that cause disharmony at the workplace. There are so many. But what can you do? Is there something you can do differently to make a difference to your team? Yeah. So I just wrote down a few points as well to just help us reflect from a place of influence. And that is where you have control. I think sometimes we We dream a lot about how things are not working and how things could be different, but we never really get to that point of how can I contribute. And today that's where I want to sort of push you towards. One, let's start with the easiest. Just check yourself. Ask yourself, as the staff that you're employed in that place, are you doing your best? Are you hardworking? Or, I mean, nowadays people talk about working smart, but really the essence here is, are you honestly doing what you're paid to do? Are you being honest with the effort that you're putting in the work that you're asked to do? So let's start from there, because I feel really that's the bare minimum. If we just start by honoring the jobs that we have been given, like be honorable and just do what you have been tasked to do, that already is a step towards building cohesion and just having a wonderful work environment, because you're doing your part and your team members are doing their parts. Hey, then we are well on our way to making a great team. Now, for people who are indifferent and people who look down on others, if you have been in this kind of situation, I want you to remember today, my beautiful lady, that first of all, the business of self-confidence, this is an inside job. Don't allow anyone at the workplace to look down on you, to make you feel like you're not worthy, to make you feel like your contributions don't matter. Don't give anyone that much power over your life. Remember, your confidence is your business and you have that control. So don't give up that control to someone else. And again, remember, you are a child of God, you are special, and you're there for a purpose. So find that self-worth, find that self-confidence and reassurance, first of all, from yourself. Be your number one cheerleader. It's something I always like to tell you, ladies. Be your number one cheerleader and believe in yourself first. Then that way, you're not going to give so much power to anyone to look down on you. Third, something that I feel we can do is just stop being negative. If you're the kind of person whose default setup is to see what is not working, how are things going, so wrong, please stop that. Stop looking out for things that are not working. Stop being negative. Stop, looking at the weaknesses of your colleagues. The moment you're on this mindset, you will always find something that's not working. We are human beings and no situation is perfect. So if you're on that kind of a default setup where you're always looking out for what is not working, you're being negative, you're looking at your colleagues' weaknesses, imagine you're going to see. So just stop that and start looking at what is working out. What is working well in this work environment? What is good? I mean, there must be something. When you look at your colleagues, start looking at what is special about this team member. What is unique about this team member? What can I learn from this team member? So when we start looking at the positive aspects of the work we are doing, the positive aspect and the energies that other team members are bringing, then more and more you're going to see more and more what is working and less of what is not working. And then remember, the more you are tapping into this positive energy, then you're also building the resilience within your team. You are also bringing that positive energy that allows you to sensitively address the challenges that you're encountering at the workplace. But can we just start by appreciating what is working and try to be on that default setup where we are looking out for the good and not the bad all the time? 4, don't think even for a moment that you are perfect. This kind of an attitude already makes you look down on other people. Don't think that you're perfect. And there is wisdom in humility. If you tell yourself that there's always room for learning, that even for you who thinks you're perfect, there is something you don't know. If you tell yourself that there is something I can learn from other people, already, even how you're going to carry yourself will be in such a way that you're humble and you're willing to learn from your teammates. You're willing to also hear other perspectives. You're willing to hear other views. Yeah. And when you put yourself in that space where, of course, you're bringing in the skills that you have and the knowledge that you have, but you remind yourself that no one is perfect, then you allow for an environment for exchange. You allow for an environment for every team member to feel worthy to bring about their views. And of course, you listen to them, and together you look at then what is the best way forward. So remember, no one is perfect. One of the things that I mentioned also that really can bring a lot of disharmony in a team is when we hold on to grudge, when we hold on to unforgiveness. So as human beings, as we're interacting at the workplace, we're going to step on each other's toe. And can you just imagine if you constantly hold on to anger, imagine it can erupt and make things worse. But also when you think about it, the moment you're bearing those feelings of resentment, feelings of anger towards a colleague, towards your boss, towards whoever it is that you're working with that has hurt you, first and foremost, you're blinded towards the possibilities that you have ahead of you. First of all, you as an individual, but also together as a team, because all your energies are on that hurt, are on that thing that, didn't go on well. And so instead of working ways to move forward, this feeling of resentment is eating you up. And this can really affect us so much, my beautiful ladies. And if there is one thing I want you to take from this episode today, if you forget everything else that I have said, I want you to remember that feelings of anger and resentment towards anybody really holds you back. It holds you from achieving your potential, and it affects your peace, and you cannot be the best that you really desire. So can you bring yourself today to forgive? Can you bring yourself today to let go of whoever it is at the workplace who has hurt you or who is constantly hurting you, whoever at the workplace that you feel has really stepped on your toes? Can you bring yourself today to just let go and forgive and make it a habit? At the end of every day, just let go and start a new day as fresh. This is going to help you, first of all, to be at peace with yourself, and it's going to help you to be at peace with the person that you're working with. So in summary, my beautiful ladies, I want you to remember these are the things I have mentioned. 1, check yourself that first of all you are doing your part. You're not the cause of disharmony in the workplace. 2, be confident and believe in yourself. Don't let anyone look down on you and take away that pride and that confidence that is built in you. 3, stop talking negatively about people and just constantly complaining and whining. Could we just aim towards being positive and try to look out for what is working? Remember, 4, you are not perfect. And last but not least, let's learn to forgive and let go. And let's make it a habit. Let's see if we try this, if we are not going to build beautiful work environment, or at least for us, we are going to at least commit to create the kind of work environment that we desire even for ourselves. I pray that you have peace as we start off this week. I pray that you be peace in your interactions. If you have not subscribed in my YouTube channel, you're most welcome. Click on that subscribe button and join this family. Take care and God bless you.